So how did I end up here 1,800 miles away from everything I've called home for the last 20 years? Well, I think it started probably about 10 years ago. But the first major moment that I believe started my dark night of the soul is probably in Wyoming. Me and Jenna had decided to go work together. My mom was still around then, and she could watch the boys during the summer, and Jenna would quit whatever job if she was working or whatever, and she would come work with me all summer, and we would make a bunch of money and, and buy a bunch of stuff. Anyway, that was the summer that it really kicked off there in my life, and things started going way downhill compared to what they had been for the entire first part of my life. You know, it's kind of funny how you don't really understand or recognize what God's favor is in your life until He takes it from you. And when that happens, my friends, you will understand what it means when God says that He is always with you. And how His favor is on you, but He can remove it, just like He did to Job. So, my best friend back then, his name was R.J. Vera. And I loved R.J. He was like my brother. I still love him, you know what I mean? Like, he was a good friend of mine, and we went through some shit together. I met him on the pipeline somewhere in Oklahoma, and we hit it off right away. He's a heavy machinery operator and a pipeliner. And that's what he loves to do. He loves that shit, and that's cool, man. I like RJ, and he taught me how to operate machinery, just by observing him, and then later on he actually, I got a chance to be a swamper, and he taught me how to operate, and I got to learn underneath him, and I'm forever grateful for that. Thank you, RJ. And let's see, he was the one that called us. He said, "Hey, Cooney," who is from Louisiana. His name is actually Prosper Fontenot, but we called him Cooney. Cooney called RJ, and he has work in Wyoming. He said, "Yeah, I'll take the job," and he left. And then I think it was a little bit later that he was able to get down there, and then, or maybe we all went at the same time. Hell, I can't remember. Anyway, Cooney was the one who called RJ, and then RJ called the rest of us, and that's how it went. And eventually, everybody that made it there at first was me and Jenna and RJ, and of course, Cooney. And then Eddie Jr., and then about maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks after that. It was probably not that long, but then Bobby Mond came from Houston. And all of us had worked, except for, that was the first time I met Cooney, I believe, was on that job. Yes. And he's the one, he was a foreman there, and he actually got us all on. It was by his word that we got on. So, anyhow, we were all hired on as operators, except for Jenna. She was my swamper. And a swamper is basically the helper of an operator. And everything I do, she's out watching, keeping an eye on everything, directing me, you know, holding flags, uh, watching when I'm within